1989, I opened up this school here in Torrance, California. I had brought in some of my brothers from Brazil to help me, and the thing was getting more and more popularity here.
Very low with no, look at just the land.
They would fight anyone. They wouldn't back down to anybody. Orion had a $100,000 challenge. He would fight anybody or have someone in his family fight anybody for the $100,000. They would come in there wanting to see if what he was saying was true, and they would fight.
Soon I realized that every time I had a challenge match coming here to the academy, I would let my students know, and there would be a huge party for those guys. I mean, they would come in, bring friends, and everybody wanted to see the real deal happening live in front of their eyes. So I said to myself, I have to put this up on a much larger scale. And that's what gave me the idea to come up with a concept for the real no-holds-barred show on television.
And that's how the Ultimate Fighting Champion started. It was like a large infomercial at the beginning because Orion was trying to prove his style was better than other styles.
With producer Bob Marowitz and his Semaphore Entertainment Group, Orion Gracie realized his dream of putting on the first ever televised no-holds-barred event. It was billed as the bloodiest, most barbaric show in history.
You know, the first event took place in the McNichols Arena in Denver, Colorado. It was November 12th, 1993. I remember it well.
People had no idea of what to expect from that very first show, because it's the first time ever a tournament like this was actually being put together. People have heard about, no-holds-barred fighting in underground, in Japan, in China, whatever it is, but everything is rumored,
No one believed that this was going to happen. No one even had a clue or an idea of what real was. The realest thing people knew was boxing. The only thing other people said that looked anything like that was a street fight. And they just don't televise that. This is something nobody has ever seen. This can't be real. You can't do this on TV. You can't do this. It's not legal.
I don't think it should be permitted to take place in America.
I was excited, man. I mean, that's that rush you're looking for as a competitor, You're looking for that rush. This was it, dude. As real as it's gonna get. 2 men enter, 1 man walk out, that type of thing. That's how they were billing it.
The first ever Ultimate Fighting Championship was held in Denver, Colorado in November 1993. They said it was the most brutal show on earth. They called it a blood sport. They had no idea how right they were going to be.
I remember being in the locker room and pads are popping, guys are screaming and trying to get psyched up, and he's kicking the pad, you had these big pops in the back, and people screaming and yelling, and first fight goes into the ring. It's a Manny Arborough, a sumo guy, against Gerard Godot, and everybody's going, that sumo guy's gonna kill him, man, because he's so much bigger.
Kathy, what do you think? Let's go. Whoa.
I think we're just missing teeth there.
Teeth go flying in the front row, and Bill Wallace and Kathy Long were both the announcers on this thing. And everybody's like, they're all talking about how it's going to happen, everything, and the crowd's going nuts in the locker room. They're all popping and screaming and getting ready, and all of a sudden this thing, you have bang, bang, teeth fly, goes silent. The audience, the locker room, the announcers, everything. I kid you, it felt like 30 seconds. It was silent. It was for a split second, but it felt like forever. The fighters were all like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? You could cut it with a knife on how nervous everybody was, because this is something nobody has ever seen. This can't be real. You can't do this on TV. You can't do this. It's not legal. I remember going into the ring. I was pumped, man, thinking this is real. I was fighting Patrick Smith. He had 250-0 in bare knuckle fights. He was undefeated. remember the bell rings. I go in there, Patrick throws a hard kick. I shoot on him, I take him down. I punch him a few times, I drop back down in the heel good. I crank his heel, I break his leg, he taps out. Ah!
Pretty good. You know, the guy with the longer legs.
The crowd booed. They were mad.
The tap out right there. Just too painful.
No one understood what submissions were. They were like, what was that? Even the announcers were like, he got him in some footlock or something. It was like no one knew. They didn't have an idea. Hoist Gracie and myself were the only ones that really knew what submissions were, knew how to do submissions effectively in a real fight.
The most dominant fighter wasn't the biggest or the strongest Hoist Gracie had invited. Just as he'd planned, it was his little brother, Hoist, who had advanced to the final match.
When I started the UFC, I decided to put Hoist, who was younger, who had never fought before, 178 pounds soaking wet, because I felt it would be a better example of what Gracie Jiu-Jitsu would be.
This is a major part of fighting. People do not understand that this is very strong.
It's got to be a great joke. It's over.
There it is. There's Eric. Now watch Hoist take the mount position. It is just a frightening experience, Phil, to have somebody else.
Everybody said, wow, that's a little guy. Doesn't look that athletic. He's killing everybody. I gotta learn that.
The fact is, the guy looks very, very timid. He does not look like a fighter. He looks like he has no muscle tone. He just looks like a skinny guy walking around that wants to be a fan.
Hoist Gracie is the guy who showed everyone what real martial arts are. It's really about fighting. It's not about you throwing your pretty kicks and thinking that you got some death touch. It's reality. And reality, for most of the people who fought Hoist Gracie in the early days of the UFC, was getting choked.
When I looked at the pairings and stuff, I realized that the fight that I thought would be the best one would be Hoist Gracie against Ken Shamrock.
There goes that kick to the back, right on the...
Going right into the kidney there.
Exactly. Ken's got his right leg up, trying to prevent Hoist from getting his left leg over, and now Hoist has what appears to be the guard position. Hoist takes the mount. That's exactly what Hoist wants to do. He looks like he's going for the back.
Ken's back up.
Hoist, there's the tap. There's the tap.
I was sitting there on the ground, I'm going, how will he do that? I had his arm. So from that point on, after that fight, I go, all right, man, I got to figure out what he did.
The Gracie clan had won the Ultimate Fighting Championship and showed the world just how dominant Gracie Jiu-Jitsu could be. But as the show's popularity grew, so did the voices of those who opposed.
As it took that form, and people started feeling it and understanding that this is real, man, is when we started getting a negative impact.
The ultimate contact sport, or a modern-day Roman gladiator at battle. Tonight, a look at a frightening new fad that may be coming to your town.
Oh, that's going to be it. That's going to be it.
If you're in a boxing match, you don't have any options even to defend yourself. In the Ultimate Fighting Championship, you get hurt with a punch, you can control that guy with grappling. You can get a hold of him. You can take him down.
Bryan's just pummeling away at Atkins.
He's got him cut now.
You have options. You can move around. You're not restricted in what techniques you can use, and that's what's dangerous to fighting. But what's dangerous to fighting is the lack of options. You're forced to stand there and bang with each other. You can't even hold on and protect yourself. Boxing is a far more dangerous sport.